My name is Caitlin, and at 34 I was drowning. Every day I hauled grocery bags home after 12-hour shifts while changing buses 3 times across town. My husband, Jack, had been horizontal on our living room couch for 2 years straight, watching TV while I worked myself into exhaustion. Our savings were gone, my body was failing, and resentment had replaced love in our marriage. Then one rainy evening, bus number 42 changed everything. A conversation between strangers revealed the truth I had been too tired to see. Before I share what I overheard that night, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and hit subscribe if you've ever felt invisible in your own home. I never imagined my life would become an endless marathon of obligation and exhaustion. 10 years ago, I graduated with a business degree full of ambition and plans to climb the corporate ladder. My parents had worked hard to put me through college, the first in our family to attend. I had dreams of executive positions, maybe even starting my own company someday. The world seemed full of possibility. Then I met Jack at my friend Alison's barbecue. He arrived with a cooler of craft beers and a smile that lit up his entire face. At 32, he was 6 years older than me, established in his career as a construction supervisor, confident in a way that drew me in immediately. We talked for hours that day, and when he asked for my number, my heart practically leaped out of my chest. Our courtship was a whirlwind. Jack showed up at my apartment with flowers and surprised me with tickets to concerts. He cooked elaborate meals and told me stories about growing up in a small town in Ohio. He worked hard during the week, managing crews of 20 men, but always made time for us on weekends. "You're the most fascinating woman I've ever met," he would tell me, running his fingers through my hair. "I love how your mind works." Within 8 months, he proposed on a hiking trip, getting down on one knee at the summit as the sun rose. I said yes without hesitation. We planned a small ceremony in my parents' backyard, nothing extravagant because we were saving for a house. The first years of marriage were everything I had hoped for. We found a modest 3-bedroom in a good school district with a small yard and friendly neighbors. Jack worked overtime to help with the mortgage, and I secured a position as an administrative assistant at Westbrook Financial. The pay wasn't amazing, but the benefits were good, and there seemed to be opportunity for advancement. Emma came along in our 2nd year of marriage, a calicky baby who kept us up all night but melted our hearts with her first smile. Lucas followed 2 years later. Our family felt complete, and despite the chaos of raising young children while both working full-time, we managed. We're tired but happy, taking turns with midnight feedings and weekend activities. Jack coached Lucas's t-ball team, and I volunteered at Emma's preschool when I could. "We are a good team," Jack would say, high-fiving me after we successfully navigated a dual tantrum situation at the grocery store. Then came the economic downturn. The construction industry was hit particularly hard. Jack's company struggled for months, cutting hours, then salaries, before finally declaring bankruptcy. The day he came home at 2:00 in the afternoon with a cardboard box of desk items, I knew our lives were about to change. "It's just temporary," he assured me, his eyes betraying his confidence. "Companies are still building. I'll find something else in no time." I believed him completely. Jack had always been resourceful and hardworking. He had contacts throughout the industry, recommendations from previous clients, and years of experience. Finding another position might take a few weeks, maybe a month or 2, but certainly not long. Those first months, Jack approached his job search with enthusiasm. He updated his resume, called former colleagues, attended industry networking events. He went on several interviews, always returning with stories about the companies and optimism about his chances. "They said they'll let me know next week" became his regular refrain. But the calls never came. The construction market had completely collapsed in our region. Companies weren't just not hiring, they were laying people off by the dozens. Jack's former co-workers were taking jobs in retail or fast food just to make ends meet. 6 months in, his enthusiasm began to wane. He started sleeping later, spending more time watching television, checking job boards less frequently. When I gently asked about his progress one evening, he snapped at me, "Do you think I'm not trying? There are no jobs, Caitlin." None. I backed off, understanding his frustration and wounded pride. Jack had always defined himself by his work ethic and ability to provide. This prolonged unemployment was destroying his self-image. By the 1-year mark, a worrying transformation had taken place. The man who once bounded out of bed at 5:30 was now sleeping until noon. Job applications happened maybe once a week, if at all. When I suggested he consider positions outside construction, retail, customer service, anything to help with bills, he dismissed the idea. "Those aren't real jobs. I'm not flipping burgers at 40. His doctor diagnosed depression and recommended therapy, possibly medication. Jack attended one session before declaring it worthless psycho-babble. The prescription remained unfilled on our kitchen counter until I threw it away. Meanwhile, our financial situation grew increasingly dire. We had some savings, but with only my income, it evaporated quickly. I asked for overtime at work, then a weekend shift. My boss, sensing my desperation, piled on additional responsibilities without additional compensation. I took it all without complaint. Terrified of losing the only income keeping our family afloat, our home life transformed completely. I now woke at 5 each morning, prepared lunches for the children, laid out their clothes, and left breakfast for everyone before catching the 6:15 bus to work. After a full day at the office, I would shop for groceries, then take multiple buses home, arriving around 7:30 to cook dinner, help with homework, and tackle laundry and cleaning. Jack would be where I left him, on the couch, surrounded by snack wrappers and empty soda cans. When I asked for help, there was always a reason. He couldn't. Backache, headache, exhaustion, despite doing nothing all day. I applied for 3 jobs today, he would say, though the laptop showed only Netflix in the browser history. I'm waiting to hear back. The children noticed the change. Our household, 8-year-old Emma became increasingly withdrawn, while 6-year-old Lucas acted out at school. Their teachers called with concerns I had no time or energy to properly address. Our savings account hit zero, credit card debt mounted, mortgage payments were late, then partial, then missed entirely. Letters from the bank arrived with increasing frequency. I hid them from Jack, not wanting to deal with his defensive outbursts. I was carrying our entire family alone, and I was breaking under the weight. My alarm blared at 5 in the morning, jolting me from a dream where I was drowning in quicksand. The metaphor wasn't lost on me as I forced my aching body out of bed. Jack snored beside me, having finally come to bed at 3 after late-night movie marathon. He wouldn't stir for hours. The wooden floor felt cold against my bare feet as I shuffled to the bathroom. The face that greeted me in the mirror looked like it belonged to someone a decade older. Dark circles under my eyes, skin, sallow hair, limp. I barely recognized myself anymore. The morning routine had become mechanical. Shower for 4 minutes exactly, dress in one of 5 rotation outfits, make 4 sandwiches, 2 for the kids' lunches and 2 for my own lunch and dinner at work, set out cereal boxes and bowls, check backpacks for homework and permission slips, wake Emma and Lucas, coaxing them through their own morning routines, while simultaneously brewing coffee and ironing a shirt for an afternoon meeting. "Mom, I need $25 for the field trip today," Emma announced, handing me a crumpled form that was due yesterday. "My science project is due, and I need a poster board." Lucas whined, milk dribbling down his chin. I closed my eyes, calculating our checking account balance in my head. $17 until payday. "Another problem to solve later. I'll figure it out, sweetie." "Lucas, I'll pick up a poster board during my lunch break." "Now hurry, Mrs. Peterson is driving you today." As the kids grabbed their backpacks, I glanced at the couch where Jack would relocate when he eventually woke up. The indent of his body was permanent, now the cushions worn into the exact shape of his lanky frame. "Kiss Daddy goodbye when he wakes up," I told the kids, knowing he wouldn't be conscious until long after they'd left. The morning bus was crowded with other tired workers. I squeezed into a seat, balancing my purse and tote bag on my lap. 45 minutes later, I arrived at Westbrook Financial, where I'd been an administrative assistant for 9 years. My desk was already piled with folders when I arrived. Additional work from Diana, the marketing manager, who knew I wouldn't say no. "Caitlin, thank God you're here," she exclaimed, dropping another stack of papers. The Johnston presentation got moved up to tomorrow. And I need all these reorganized by section and priority. Oh, and can you grab coffee for the team meeting? Thanks, you're a lifesaver. She disappeared before I could respond. I swallowed my resentment and got to work. During my supposed lunch break, I ran to the store for Lucas's poster board, then worked through a sandwich at my desk while formatting spreadsheets. At 3, I took a 5-minute bathroom break where I splashed water on my face and called the kids to make sure they'd gotten home safely. "Dad's playing video games," Emma reported. "He said he's too busy to help with my math homework. Put him on the phone," I said, trying to keep my voice level.